Hello, everyone, and welcome back to question of the day number 2. We're continuing the series and trying to come up with some new ideas. Every day, we're trying to pick a new topic, and the topic I went today was based actually on a question asked today by one of the students: is how risky do I know an investment is? And so specifically, the question was related to share prices. And it had me thinking about how do we know if something is low risk, medium risk, high risk, especially with investments. So we know that investments you have to do return, risk, and obviously the time period. And the return is relatively simple. You can talk about capital gain, you can talk about interest, you can talk about dividends, but risk is often one where we think, how do we know something is high, middle, or low risk? And what I want you to think about is you need to ask yourself the following question. You need to see, how much do I stand to lose? When you buy a share at 5 Rand and you only buy 100 shares, yes, you got 500 Rand. In the greater scheme of things of a portfolio, 500 Rand is not a lot. So if you only buy a small percentage, your risk is obviously lower. If you buy 100,000 shares, that risk increases. The second thing you need to ask is how easily can I get rid of it? And that is where knowing what the JSE is like. It's because of public companies are a lot simpler. You go on the JSE, you buy your shares, you sell your shares. It's completely open-ended, it's completely transparent, and there are hundreds and thousands of buyers. And that's the third question: is there are always buyers and sellers willing to buy it. Obviously, if it's in the case of a crisis or of an emergency, it becomes a lot harder because people are aware of the emergency, aware of the crisis, and therefore no longer want to buy the goods. So you've got to figure out how many buyers, and that is why the risk of collectibles is as high as it is. Is that yes, the thing has an enormous amount of value, but if you go and you look at how many people would actually buy a painting of 100,000 Rand or 300,000 Rand, 400,000 Rand, a million Rand, however much, and that's why the risk of a collectible is as high as it is because it's a niche product. And then the last one actually doesn't necessarily return, but it looks at the risk of doing certain things. When I ask you why is product development a higher risk option than, for example, let's say a product differentiation. Let's say you're an ice cream shop and you decide, oh, we're just going to differentiate the product. We're going to use a little bit less milk or whatever in the ice cream. We're going to make it a little bit less of it. We're going to make it a little bit healthier. Okay, I don't know what you put in ice cream. It's all this in it. But now you can quickly decide, oh, we're just going to put the milk back and that's cool and we're not really going to worry about it. But if you spent years developing a new gelatin or gelato or whatever, and you spent a lot of money and time and resources putting it in, and you've said, okay, we're going to get rid of the ice cream machine and we're only going to have a gelato machine, how easily can you go back to selling ice cream? It'll be a lot harder. And that's why product development is a higher risk option than anything else because product development takes time. Product development is not a quick fix, it is something that takes a lot of time and therefore is a lot harder to do. And that is why when you take a decision, you've got to ask yourself, how quickly can I return back to where I was? Same, when you open up new stores, you can't just say, oh, we'll close the store tomorrow if it doesn't work. It's not as easy to return to the place you were before you took the risk. And these are the types of questions you need to ask yourself when you look at a risk of an item. But as we all know, predicting risk is a risky endeavor. Okay, Steinhoff was thought to be one of our safer options, and we all know how that turned out. So you always, whenever you're looking at risk, you've got to think about those various questions and you've got to think yourself, how easily can I recover from this or how easily can I go back to the place where I was before I took the risk? And that'll help you make the decision.